meets your needs, fulfills your needs, needs you is? It's the only answer that should be there.
Otherwise you're codependent.
Or else, otherwise you're what?
Codependent.
Codependent. Yeah, a little bit crazy too. You know, here's the funny thing. I always think about this in relationship. I mean, imagine if you say to somebody, hello, you're my friend, now meet my needs. Right? Hello, I love you, now meet my needs. Right? I mean, that's one of the craziest things to me in relationships. We're two halves of the same whole. She completes me. He is my better half. Right? You need to be a whole, healthy, complete individual who can meet your own needs and know you're the one who does that for you, but where you can never do it for somebody else. And how are you going to create prosperity in life in your business if you don't have that first? If you can take that away and start thinking about that, wow, that's powerful. Second activity for you in my time. Simple question. I'm going to have you write down some answers. I'm going to give you 2 minutes for it, all right? The question is this. Who am I? Who am I? And I'd like you to write down as many words, single words as you want to answer that question, all right? Go ahead. Okay, so you could probably spend half an hour on this activity, right? And really build this list. And you can go back to it after today. Here's what I want you to do next, though. Look at the list of words you wrote down and go back over them. And I want you to cross out every single one that is a role. Husband, wife, mother, teacher, right? Anything that's a role. Sister, auntie, uncle, whatever your job is that you do. Right? Anyone that's a role, just cross them off the list. Yes, really, cross them off. Some of you are having difficulty with that. Go for it. Cross them off. Yes?
I didn't put anything.
Okay, good. You don't have anything to cross off then, right? Okay. Yeah. Yes?
Kind of scary.
Yeah, you might change the word that you're a seeker of truth or honesty. Yep.
That's the role.
All right? Every now and again I have somebody who goes, okay, you just made me cross off everything I am. Right? Okay, so let's talk about this. There is a reason. Who you are and what you do are two different things. And this is where people lose it when it comes to building a presence for their business in person or online. You're all about what you do, not who you are. And the thing about what you do is it will change. How many of you know that's true? Absolutely. As a matter of fact, mothers, your role as mother changes. Would you agree that's true?
Amen.
And if you define yourself as a mother and you define that role and you don't realize how that role changes over time, you're screwed because you're stressed out, you're unhappy, you don't know how to define yourself when your kids leave the nest. Right? All those things happen. I watch women go through it. When your career needs to change and you've so defined yourself by what you do, and the world is telling you that what you do is obsolete now. Huge amount of stress. Who you are and what you do are two different things. Who you are is what you bring into what you do. So let me give you an example. I am a lifelong learner. Is anybody else a lifelong learner? Lifelong learner. Love seminars, love classes, love audio cassette tapes. How many of you agree with all that?
Yeah.
I'm a junkie. All right? I'm one of these people, don't let me go into the bookstore because it doesn't matter how many books I have at home to read, I'll buy a book. All right? That's me, okay? And I have a role. One of my roles is that I'm Earl's girl, right? Earl is my guy of 12 and a half years, okay? And if I come home with a bag of books, and Earl looks at me and says, "You got more books? Don't you have enough crap over there to read?" Do you see the problem?
Yeah.
Suddenly, my wealth thinking, my prosperity, what makes me who I am, is gone in that relationship. Because I'm being told that who I am is not okay. I am also a person who believes who I am is having a sense of humor. Anybody else like that? I love somebody who can joke around. As a matter of fact, I'm going to start a club that's called COPO. COPO. It's for the Club of the Perpetually Offended. So you guys know those people, don't you?
I used to
I don't get them, quite honestly. It's like, get over it, okay? Have a sense of humor, life is short. So that's really important to me. If I couldn't come to a seminar and joke when I teach a seminar, I wouldn't go. I tell the client, no, I don't think I'm a right fit. If I can't make people laugh, why do that? Again, in my role, in my relationship, extremely important, yes.
So a student would be a role, but a learner is not a role.
Yeah, a student is a role, right? I mean, how many of you know people have gotten caught in the student role and can't define themselves any other way, and they really stress out, right? Absolutely.
Well, how about, I've got healer and lover.
Well, maybe you and I can do that at another time in terms of defining those. Is that fair? Because they're only giving me 30 minutes, and you know how that is. They're cutting off. He's just going to come whack at the knees at one point, right? Okay? Yeah, so sense of humor is important to me. In my relationship, I remember a few years ago, we had a house fire, a house burned down. And we really learned about humor in terms of that, right? And we're in our 40s now, and I'll never forget, Earl's got on this kick where we need to be healthy. I should say. I always think we're pretty healthy, you know, and he's like, I think we need to get a blender so I can make these juice drinks in the morning and make sure we get our luteins and our gluteins and our lysines and all the things we're supposed to get, right? And I'll power it up in a juicer, so we need a juicer. And we have the kind of relationship where he has his money and I have my money, and we decide who's responsible and how bills get paid. We don't believe in the whole our money thing, which is actually kind of fun when he's out of money and I have money to buy shoes with. But we take turns with items that go into the household, right, in terms of whose card comes out for what. So we go to Bed Bath & Beyond, we're looking at blenders. He's like, oh yeah, I want this one. This one's perfect. I need this blender, right? We go up to pay for it. It's my turn to pay. I whip out the debit card, and he says, or the cashier rings it up, and she goes, $108.16. And this is like 6 years ago.
Oh.
And I'm 5'5" on a really tall day, right? And he's 6'5", and I'm thinking, I thought blenders were like $12.95, you know? So I'm thinking, and I look up at him, I go, man, you're an expensive date. And he looks down at me and he says, that's okay, I put out. And of course, the girl behind the counter who takes herself way too seriously in life and belongs to that club I talked about earlier, she's going, oh. It's always a sign that somebody takes themselves way too seriously, isn't it, when they start making those kinds of remarks. Absolutely. What's my point? If I couldn't do that in public and have him come right back and joke, if he had been like, well, you know, Aunt, last week we went and did blah, 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 and I spent $117.37, and really now you owe me $8.06, I would have been like, dude, go find somebody else to date. Right? Because I need to be able to be who I am. Now, if you're going to get online, this is what's important. You see where I'm going? If you can't be who you are online, you're just being what you do, I got news for you. Online, most people won't buy from you. There will be suckers, and don't get me wrong. Every place in the world there are suckers who will fall for a trap, and there's a great new trap online now, and again, think about the power of the language. They actually call them squeeze pages. Have you guys heard of this? A squeeze page. So it's a page that you link to, and it's one big long line. Buy because you need this. And it's worth this.